This whole story, this entire nightmare, it all kicks off with a frantic phone call about a life or death emergency. Except the surgery, it never even existed. We're about to walk through a case that starts with what looks like family duty, but spirals into criminal fraud, identity theft, and a betrayal so deep it's hard to wrap your head around.
That's a question that might hit a little too close to home for some of us. But for the woman in this story, pretending wasn't just about keeping the peace. It was about surviving a web of lies so intricate, the very people you're supposed to trust most were the ones setting the trap.
And right there, that's the weapon. Family helps family. Just 3 words. But those 3 words are the key they use to unlock bank accounts, to justify insane lies, and to demand absolute loyalty, even when things started to feel very, very wrong. It's a phrase that's supposed to mean love, but in this story, it was twisted into a tool of absolute control.
Okay, so let's start where all the trouble began. Behind this picture-perfect facade of a normal, loving family. A place where every call for help, every urgent request sounded completely reasonable, at least at first.
Just try to imagine getting that call. It's your mom, and she is hysterical. Your dad's had some kind of catastrophic back injury. There's only one surgeon who can possibly fix it, but he's out of network. He needs cash up front. The clock is ticking. You can feel the panic. Your brain just shuts off, right? Your heart takes over. Of course you're going to help. So you do it. You send them your entire wedding fund.
I mean, look at how perfectly this lie was built. It's a work of art in a twisted way. You've got the life or death crisis. You've got an insane deadline, so you don't have time to think. There's a believable hook about insurance. We've all dealt with that mess. And then the threat, permanent paralysis. It's terrifying. So the ask, 25 grand, it's devastating, sure, but compared to the alternative, it feels like you have no other choice.
But here's the thing about a lie that big. It's heavy. And it's really, really hard to hold up for long. Pretty soon, the cracks in that perfect facade, they start to show. And this is where that first little alarm bell starts to ring. You just saved your dad's life, you think, but suddenly the frantic calls are gone, replaced by this weird silence. Oh, he's just resting, they say. The doctor said he needs total quiet. But days turn into a week. No photos from the hospital bed, no real details, just these vague updates that start to feel more and more empty. The relief you felt starts to curdle into suspicion.
This is the moment the floor drops out. After being put off for days, Brianna finally drives to her parents' house, probably expecting to see her dad laid up in a hospital bed. But instead, she finds him, the man supposedly recovering from major spinal surgery, up on a ladder, perfectly fine, washing a shiny new van. And the truth just hits her like a ton of bricks. There was no surgery. The money wasn't for a doctor. It was a down payment on a vehicle for her brother.
The lie about the surgery was one thing. I mean, that's already a massive betrayal. But it turns out that was just scratching the surface. Brianna starts to realize this wasn't a one-time thing. It wasn't a mistake. No, this was a pattern. And it was about to get so much worse.
So while she's still reeling from this, she gets this gut feeling and decides to pull her credit report. And there it is. A $90,000 personal loan, taken out in her name just a few days before, completely without her knowledge. Her own sister had just taken her info and applied for it. The scale of what was happening just exploded.
And let's be really clear about what we're talking about here. This isn't borrowing. This isn't some family misunderstanding. This is identity theft. It's a federal crime. The family drama has officially crossed the line into a full-blown criminal conspiracy.
And just when you think there's no way this can get any darker, it does. As she starts to distance herself, starts asking questions, the family's tactics change. They're not just trying to manipulate her anymore. They're getting more sinister. They can feel they're losing control over her, and that desperation pushes them toward a truly horrifying plan.
That is a chilling thing to hear, isn't it? It's a direct quote pulled from a secret recording. That's her family, talking about how they're going to drug her at the next family dinner. Their justification? Oh, not to hurt her, just to make her drowsy and more agreeable so they could talk some sense into her. Their plan was to use a veterinarian tranquilizer to literally incapacitate their own daughter. And right there, that's the turning point. The shock, the hurt, the fear, it all burns away, and what's left is this cold, methodical resolve. She's not a victim anymore. She's an investigator, and her family has absolutely no idea what's coming for them. You see, the entire power dynamic just flips.
Instead of blowing up and confronting them, she plays along. She goes to the family dinners, she smiles, she makes small talk, and all the while she is quietly, meticulously building her case. Every single text, every weird email, every story that doesn't add up, it all becomes a piece of evidence. The emotional chaos they created becomes a crime scene, and she's the lead detective. And she wasn't just collecting feelings, she was building an ironclad legal case. She got her dad's actual insurance records, proving no surgery was ever even filed. She saved every single message. She built this insane timeline that laid out their whole web of lies in excruciating detail. And, this is so important, she talked to lawyers who confirmed just how serious these crimes really were. So while she's gathering all this proof, she starts to test them, not with accusations, but with these calm, totally reasonable offers. These questions weren't for her benefit. She already knew the truth. They were traps designed to force her family to either dig their hole deeper with more lies or accidentally expose themselves. And every refusal, every weak excuse, it just became another nail in their coffin. And now, we get to the final act. After months of playing the part of this silent, intense investigation, the time for pretending is finally over. It is time for the reckoning. I mean, you couldn't write a more perfect setting. She calls for one last family dinner. The exact same table where they plotted to drug her, where they spun all their lies, that was going to be the stage for their complete undoing. They walk in thinking it's a chance to make up. They have no earthly idea they're walking into an indictment.
And this is the moment of truth. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't cry. She just calmly passes out a folder to everyone at the table. And inside is a full, itemized accounting of their crimes. She goes through it, one by one, the medical fraud, the identity theft, the years of financial abuse, and then finally, felony assault. All of it backed up with printed out evidence, wire fraud, bank fraud, grand larceny. It's all there in black and white.
You would think, faced with indisputable proof, there would be shame, remorse. But no. The reaction is pure indignation. Her mother's response right here says everything you need to know. To them, multiple felonies were just a mistake. All that stolen money was just some money. In their mind, she wasn't a victim getting justice. She was a traitor, destroying the family over nothing. Their moral compass wasn't just broken, it was gone. But the evidence was undeniable. Because she had been so meticulous, the legal fallout was fast and severe. Criminal charges were filed. A judge ordered them to pay back every single penny and granted a restraining order. The family's public image, that carefully crafted facade of love and support, was utterly and permanently destroyed. And really, that's the question we're left with, isn't it? This story is such a haunting look at how that sacred bond of family can be twisted into a weapon. It forces you to wonder, how do you possibly protect yourself when the greatest threat isn't a stranger, but someone sitting right across from you at the dinner table?